Hello dear friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Catherine. I graduated from USC under a year ago. You're probably thinking, what can you offer me now that you're no longer in college? What advice could you possibly give me? And to that I say, now I've had to learn quite a few things that I wish I could have done in college. The real world will educate you on these topics the hard way. Get these things figured out before you get your diploma and life will be so much easier on the other side of things. Number one, you saw it coming. How to cook. If you've lived in a dorm all 4 years, you definitely don't know how to cook because you probably always have had a dining hall. I had 2 years off campus cooking my own food and I still did not learn how to cook because you just do not have time every single night in college to make elaborate meals, especially as a single person. I'm going to put the cookbooks, the easy blog articles, the videos below that have taught me my staple meals after college that are a little bit more elaborate than just spaghetti and meatballs. I'm gonna throw in the advice that meal prepping will change your everyday. So if you could not only learn how to cook, but learn how to meal prep in college, you're gonna be leagues ahead of everyone else. Number two, no one really ever told me that this would be important after college, but no one ever taught me while I was at USC how to be taken seriously at my age. At 20 years old, 21, 22, really in your 20s, how to make people take you seriously when you're gonna be working in a job field most likely that's gonna have people 20, 30 plus years older than you. Whenever I meet clients or coworkers I've been working with over email, over phone, in person, they're always very surprised. At some point ask me how many years ago I graduated from college. If I go to happy hour with coworkers and they check my ID and they make some comment about me only being 21, it gets kind of uncomfortable. When I was buying a car, I got really condescended to for being so young. In college, they kind of let you use your college card and just kind of be this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed individual, go into internships, like, teach me everything, I'm just a college student. But by your senior year, you'd be surprised at the opportunities that will open up to you if people think you're more experienced than you are. You would think people would take you seriously now that you have a college degree, but that's really not the case. To the point that I've actually removed the year I graduated from college off of my social media because I don't want people to assume based on that. But I still look young, so I'm never gonna get rid of that. Some actionable tips about how to learn this: figure out how to dress well, stop buying cheap things from Forever 21 and maybe invest in some things from like a Banana Republic, whether those are secondhand or thrift or whatnot. You should be buying some nicer pieces. And number two, figure out how to talk about yourself, figure out how to articulate who you are, what you value without using the words like, figure that stuff out. Those are the two biggest things that I have tried to use to age myself up because it is kind of important to try to accelerate yourself and not have to get stuck in the age bracket of, oh, she's 21, she doesn't know what she's doing. I guess I'm 22 now. She doesn't know what she's doing and just, throw her aside. Number three, no one ever sat me down, no professor, no classmate, no parent ever sat me down in college and told me how important it is to have a credit score. It is really important to have a good credit score. No one even told me to have a credit score. So all throughout college, there was a fat goose egg on my credit report to the point when I applied to Adobe, they asked me if my social security number was right because they could not find a credit score for me. And they were like, is this girl a real person? Where's her identity? And the thing about credit is it's not actually even that hard to figure out. The first thing I knew I needed to do was get a credit card. Didn't know where to start there. Immediately went to Credit Sesame, looked through all their guides because they have some really helpful guides for what credit cards to choose if you're a student. So if you're still in college, what credit cards to choose if you're new to credit, aka me who didn't have a credit score. What credit cards to choose if you have low credit, you have good, great, fair, like which are the best, gives you the pros and the cons and some of the features and benefits. And that was my Bible. That's really what I stuck to when I was looking at which credit card to get. I am deliberately partnering with Credit Sesame on this video because I found it to be the most useful resource when I was trying to figure out the landscape of credit scores. They will offer a credit score for free for you, and it's actually a myth that checking your credit score will hurt it. It won't, so you can go on that site and figure out if you do have a credit score right now, what it is. And also, a lot of you come to me for tips about what to do financially, which I think is very flattering, but I also think that they're probably a better resource. They have a whole blog on like quick hacks to get your credit score better, when to use debit versus credit, when you should use a cosigner, all sorts of things that I had had a lot of question marks in my head about, but never knew where to go or who was a trusted resource. College won't tell you to build your credit, so as a millennial, you need to do it for yourself because a credit score is necessary for student loans. It's necessary for your job applications, as I just said. It's necessary for rental applications once you graduate from college and want to get your own place. I needed one for my car loan and I had to co-sign because I didn't have a good credit score. So if I were you, I would hop right onto Credit Sesame and gauge where you're at in your sort of like credit personal finance journey. They also have identity theft protection, which I know has been a big buzz as of lately for very important reasons, so they'll protect you up to $50,000. Everything on there is totally free. You don't need a credit score to log in there, so don't let that hold you back. Dive into the website. They also have an app, make an account. Like, I genuinely really appreciate that Credit Sesame exists. I think they're an awesome startup. They're very fast growing. And if you think I know what I'm doing about personal finances, it's only because I used Credit Sesame to figure out my credit card and my loans and all of that good stuff. Head over to creditsesame.com and you just will not be disappointed. I guarantee you. Number 4. On that note, how to budget. How much is a reasonable amount to spend on food a month? Is it normal to be spending 50% of your income on food? Is it normal to be spending $100 on clothes a week? I think you can probably logically guess the answer to those questions, but it's always very important to have some sort of budgeting tool in place. I've talked about apps before that can do it. I've lately just been turning to an Excel spreadsheet, so if I can figure that out, I'll link it down below if I can get it online somehow. It'll let you track what you're spending to your goals, so if you want to say, oh, I want to save 6% a month, you can actually track that. If you want to limit your travel expenses and stop booking so many flights, you can limit that. If you actually want to prioritize travel over food and shopping, maybe you want to do that. Budgeting in college is weird because you don't really have an income. But if you can start that habit now, when you probably have fewer expenses than you will in the real world, it'll be so much easier when you go through the turbulence of graduating, landing a job, not getting a job, moving out, there's a lot of factors, and if you can keep some sort of budgeting system in place, that'll be one thing that can really ground you. Number 5, how to take care of yourself. College really did not prepare me or teach me how to value and protect my mental health. Getting no sleep is glorified. People always talk about spending all-nighters. People are drinking caffeine out the wazoo. There are a lot of unhealthy habits formed at college that can really damage your mental health. And I will say the on-campus counseling offering was really not good. To get a counselor booked at USC, it was a couple of weeks out. Like, you couldn't get a few-day turnaround if you really needed to talk to someone. So if you can be proactive about keeping your mental health in good standing and in check, you should. You might not be worried about it right now, but if you can meditate daily, which seems very weird, but there are a lot of really easy apps I'll link down below that you can try, like Headspace. If you can even just journal on the daily, if you can remember to get a good amount of sleep, drink a good amount of water, take time off for yourself, and if you've never thought about mental health, if you don't think about it weekly, it's a little bit scary, and I will leave some resources down below so that you can get a little more educated on it, because I know it's not something that your professors and everyone is educating you on already. Number 6 would be insurance. I truly had no idea what to look for in insurance, how to use it. Then I went to Iceland with my sister and we rented a car and got rental insurance and ended up with a $900 charge for a scratch this big, which we then worked our way out of with AAA, but insurance, extremely confusing at first, but I'll leave some resources to study up on. And I don't want you to feel as though this video is giving you just a bunch of homework as if you're taking another class on this video and trying to make this a project, but I just wanted to put it out there and be open about what I have learned in the past year that I found to be really personally helpful. And you do have a lot more time in college on your hands with a more relaxed schedule than in the real world to actually figure these things out. So if you have questions, I welcome those down below. Please comment with which one of these things you feel most confident in and which one you feel least confident in, and that'll help me figure out where to focus my tips for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all next time, and Katherout.